For too long, homeowners have been trapped in remodeling nightmares, and it's time to rewrite the story with a proven process that guarantees remarkable results.
Hello, this is the Hack Hour Podcast, a show where it's all about helping real, everyday, hardworking remodelers learn the secrets to having it all in life and business. And now, here's your host, Mike Minges.
Hey guys, welcome back to the Hack Hour, the podcast where we break down the biggest barriers in the remodeling industry. This episode is geared towards the homeowner. I'm Mike Minges. I'm the founder of both the Hack Hour and the Remodeling Academy. And our goal is where we help raise the bar for all people in the remodeling industry, starting with our remodelers themselves and also helping you guys as homeowners. All right. Now look, today's episode is groundbreaking because we're diving into what's called the Remarkable Remodeler Framework. And this is the first process of its kind in the industry. And what makes it unique is we teach you, the homeowner, how to be a successful buyer of remodeling services. See, my foundation at the Remodeling Academy, right? We aren't just here to help people remodel homes. We're here to help remodel lives. We want the entire experience to be different, to be successful. And unfortunately, the bar is a little low in the industry as a whole. As many of you know, and I've talked about on other episodes, the failure rate is astronomical in the construction world. So if you're dealing with a newer contractor, there's 50% chance that they're not going to survive their first few years. And it's almost 90%, 94% that they're not going to even make it 10 years in the industry. And the downside, what's unfortunate is most contractors don't even get good at being in the industry till they have to survive the first 10 years. It's that difficult. There is a large learning curve. It's dealing with the complexities of the house, learning the complexities of working with both homeowners and learning how to work with the multiple trades, having to learn how to work with all the employees, right? Learning to work with inspectors and jurisdictions. It's a very complex process. And by and large, people underestimate how challenging it is. It's one of the most challenging industries there is. Okay, so let's get back to this. Have you ever felt overwhelmed, unsure, even burnt out by the thought of having to go through the remodeling process? It's a lot, right? This episode is for you. If you are frustrated and just not looking forward to having all the appointments and meeting with different people and the anxiety that comes from knowing that there's going to be 5, 10 different people walking around your house, tearing it apart before it gets any better. Our home is where we like to come home at the end of the day and unwind and relax because most of our lives are pretty chaotic and there's lots of issues and problems when we're driving and we're on jobs, right? So when we come home, we want to unwind. And when you're going through an extensive long-term remodel, then your house is upturned and you just have nowhere to go and rest and recover, and that becomes stressful. So the last thing you want to do is hire a contractor who's not going to make it a smooth, enjoyable experience, right? So anyway, at the end of this episode, you'll understand how our framework will help save you time, money, and stress, and really will help turn your remodeling dream into a remarkable reality. All right, guys, let's get into it. Let's face it. Right? For decades, homeowners have been stuck in this cycle of remodeling nightmares, abandoned projects, skyrocketing costs, right? The disappearing contractor midway through. On the other side, remodelers are facing their own challenges, their own chaos, right? They're underpricing jobs. They miscommunicate with their staff. They miscommunicate with the subs. They are burnt out, right? And it leads to a massive failure rate in the industry. So what if I told you that it doesn't have to be this way? The Remarkable Remodel Framework from us, the Remodeling Academy, really changes the way this industry, the way the whole remodeling experience takes place. So it's not just about avoiding problems. It's really about empowering you, the homeowner, right? You now become informed. You are confident and you're a successful buyer of remodeling services. Think about this. If you were in a place where you were able to do 15 or 20 remodels over the course of a year or two, you'd be pretty well versed in how to do it proficiently and successfully. The downside is the average homeowner barely does more than 2 or 3 projects in a lifetime sometimes, right? So it's not your fault. You just don't do it enough. So you don't know. And then think about this. You're asking advice from other people, friends and neighbors, and they aren't experts either. They've only done it once or twice. So you're getting bad information from people. You see where I'm saying? Like, this is how you get educated. You work with someone who has the knowledge. Okay, so think about this, guys. Let's dream, right? Every successful remodeler starts with a clear vision, right? We have a well-documented design. We have a good set of plans. That's the first step in this framework. And that's how you align your dreams with a practical outcome, right? It's like having a roadmap for your trip, how you're going to get across the country. This is where we're going to go. This is how far we're going to go each day. This is where the hotels are. This is where we can get gas. This is where we get food, right? This is the weather that we're going to expect up ahead. All those things. You want to know that up front. So think about this. What is it that you really want and why? Why do you want it? What is it going to do for you, right? What are the must-haves on one side versus what are the nice-to-haves? Like, we would like to have that. And how is this new space going to really make your life better? These are all important things. So we've created tools like our motivation matrix and our dream reality grid. And what they do is they help clarify these answers. So you now can dream and you can set the stage for the much smoother and more fulfilling remodel. Now, step 2, education, right? Knowledge is somewhat of a power. And the trick is you need to know how to use it correctly, right? And that's where we help you. So we want you to understand how there are high risk versus low risk contractor choices and why price really isn't the leading factor. We also help you with some consumer confidence boosters, right? To help you make better decisions. And you're going to get to learn how to spot red flags in contractors and contracts before it's too late. So that's where tools like our high risk versus low risk decision guide and our remodeling glossary of terms do make it a little simpler and clearer for you to figure out how to go about this process. Now, not every contractor is the right fit, and that's okay. So there is a process where when you do want to call a couple people, it doesn't mean you have to have everyone out on site, but you want to at least get a sense for a couple of different personalities and then make a decision from there, right? It's about finding who's a good fit personality wise for you. They ask good questions. They understand your vision. You guys discuss some numbers. You think about and have some little expectations discussed, right? And so we outline Renegade Remodeler standards, and that's what separates a true pro from the average Joe, as they say. So you'll also want to follow our 4 steps to hiring success, right? And you want to look at things like the credentials, the portfolio, references, and capability. And look, all of this is going to help you avoid the trap of being hooked by a cheap price because you just didn't know what else to base your decision off of. So we've put all this together. We have what's called a vetting checklist, and we do a red flags report. So this will become like your go-to tools. Now, another thing we have, right, is we want you to understand that the biggest remodeling mistakes happen when there's no specific plan. So what's the solution? Well, most cases you want to have a solid paid separate design phase, right? We often refer that as like a feasibility and design process. And what it means is somebody comes out, you work with your remodeler of choice, and you get a design first, like some sort of a plan, a vision, and then that is what people base the actual cost on. This way, if anyone's looking at it, they know exactly what is going into the project instead of guessing. So this is a success principle, right? That just ensures that your project starts with and off on the right foot. Many of your large organizations like schools and large office complex, the way that these projects get started is there's like a bid request, but then also a lot of times someone draws up a plan and then everyone gets to look at the plans, and that's what people then base timeframes, resources, and the budget off of, because someone has taken the time. So you don't want to just jump right in and get estimates, because what are we estimating? Everyone's just guessing. You want to get a plan first, and you will get the best results when you pay somebody to do a plan, right? This design agreement, and make sure that whoever you work with has that design agreement. Now, we have a tool like our Dream Perfect Kitchens process where you can get started on something like that. So if you are looking for a nice kitchen, reach out. We can help you with that as well. Okay. The next step 5, right? Money does matter. And this step ensures that you budget properly and you plan for some unexpected things. You have to learn about what's called the good, fast, cheap juggling thing, where you got to be careful about how you balance things and what you choose. So you want to make sure you're choosing wisely. And guys, in this industry, you need to budget or build a contingency cushion for surprises. All right. You just don't know what's going to happen unless that remodeler actually physically built your house. They aren't sure all the time what it's going to look like when they take it apart. Houses are built one at a time. They're not built typically in factories. So you just don't know what the person who was there previously did or did not do. Okay. So we also want you to understand, right? You got to understand exactly where your money's coming from, where it's going, right? Are you going to be financing this? Is it going to be on credit cards? Are you taking out a home equity loan? Is the contractor going to help finance it? Are you trying to get a loan from a local community bank, right? All these things are something that you need to factor in. And something like our remodeler's budget breakdown is something that could help you with that. Okay. Another step here is that most remodeling headaches come down to just miscommunication, right? So we have what's called like a cornerstone process, and that's where this solves like 90% of these issues. So guys, things you want to look at is you want to insist on, if you're in the remodeling project, make sure you're getting weekly updates from the project manager, right? Make sure that your contractor has like a change order process, something that's written and documented, and you understand how this change that you're asking for, how it's impacting the overall price, how it's impacting the schedule, and how typically it needs to be paid up front, because this is putting the contractor in a bad position because they can't move forward with the original contract that you've signed. Right? So understand that when you make changes as the homeowner, that drastically can impact the contractor. So, and that which ultimately impacts you and your schedule. Look for things like a communication roadmap so that you are very clear on how communication works. And here's what we mean. Typically, a contractor has someone who does the design, the sales process. Then that person should be passing the job packet over to like the production team. That's where a project manager steps in. You should typically have a meeting where all of you get together and the job gets handed over to the project managers. Then it's the project manager's job to run the guys, the crews, the subs, the employees, to make the magic happen at the house. And if there's ever a problem on a job site, the guys that are doing all the work, they should just be communicating with the project manager. You should just be communicating with the project manager. And that's the way that you get effective communication. You don't run and talk to 17 different guys on the site. They shouldn't be all talking to you. You just talk with your project manager. And a good project manager has it all under control. So the next step here, understand remodeling can get emotional for many homeowners, right? And we have what's called like the remodeling emotional roller coaster. And an experienced remodeler has been through it and understands what you're going to be experiencing, right? Typically, it looks something like this. There's all this anticipation and excitement in day one, right? And then after a few days, there's some anxiety, there's worry, there's stress, you're getting tired, you're frustrated. So now the agitation starts to build. Then after a few more days, it gets greater, right? And you less sleep, and you're having to eat out because your kitchen's torn out, or you don't have the bathroom that you thought. So you're using the one at your gym, and that was fine for a day or two, but now it's been 6 weeks, and it's frustrating, right? And when tension starts to get built, and you're tired and you're frustrated, right? Then all that can make handling anything more challenging. So an experienced remodeler is going to help you walk through that and help let you be at ease to know that they have everything taken under control and they know what they're doing. So recognize that there are going to be stress spikes, and this way you can anticipate them, and when they do come, they don't derail you, okay? And you can learn to help stay calm. Our contractors are trained in what's called like client composure, so they understand how to help you navigate through that process. And then you can also trust our guys because they have another process, right? They have like this trust timeline chart that they can use. And basically what it does is it helps ensure that they know that they're on track. They know what comes next. They know how to properly plan so they're not constantly behind the 8 ball. Now, we have another step that is important for you guys to keep in mind. And you really need to make sure that you're doing some final walkthroughs and that your contractor has this in place as well, right? So the final walkthrough checklist our guys use, that just ensures that everything was done just like it is. Now, here's what's interesting. An excellent trained project manager will ensure that things are being done properly along the way. And that way, once the end of the job comes and you guys are walking through, the likelihood of there being more than like one or two small details is rare, right? Like, or is very likely. It should only be one, maybe two things that come up, because the job should have been well managed from the beginning. You all should be communicating, and you should have been doing weekly progress updates and checking on things, making sure that everything was being done the way you were expecting it to. So the other thing is you want to make sure that you understand like what the proper warranties and maintenance are for the long-term satisfaction. Now, let's look at the last step here. We have what's called step 9, and that's just the celebration, the close, the party. You know, companies like ours and our guys, they're going to talk to you about having some sort of a celebration party at the end of your project. That's where you get to invite some friends and family and coworkers over and really get to enjoy this space that you've sacrificed and put all this hard work into. We're excited for you to have the new space, and we want you to enjoy it too. So talk to our guys about their VIP referral program and how that could help benefit you in the celebration party, right? And remember, all this is about building like a long-term relationship. You want to get along with your remodeler. They're going to be with you for a while through that process. And a successful one's a great resource for you down the road. You never know. You might have another need. And if they can't do it themselves, they'll know someone that can solve that for you. So, guys, look, this Remarkable Remodeling Framework, again, it's not just a process, but like, look, it's a promise. It's a promise that the remodeling horror stories can become a thing of the past. And it's a promise that like both the homeowner, and us, the remodeler, can win when we work together. So if you all are ready to take like control of your remodeling journey, go over to Renegade Remodeler or the Remodeling Academy and look for our resources. Some are free, some are not free. They have a fee, but you do get what you pay for. And there's very valuable information that comes in that. And depending on how important success is to you, you'll choose what package looks the best for you. Guys, so thank you so much for tuning in to this episode of the Hack Hour Posit. This is the last one in this little series that we've done for homeowners. So if you're a homeowner and you just happen to catch this one, you'll want to look at the previous 4 episodes as well, starting with episode 20, I believe. And we put together a little package of episodes that really helps you understand how to go about being more educated and making better decisions as a homeowner, and ensuring that you are working with a professional contractor who's, and remodeler. So guys, look, at the end of the day, we want it to be a success for you and for the guys, so it works for everyone. So thank you for tuning in. And again, this was being brought to you by the Remodeling Academy. We are the groundbreaking process for the industry, and this is what we do, guys. We enjoy it, we live it, we breathe it. So we wish you the best on your upcoming remodel, and have a great day. Thank you.
Thank you for listening to the Hack Hour podcast. It would be awesome if you would leave us a quick review on iTunes. To further your remodeling success, go to remodelingriches.com.